Hey there guys, thanks for joining us on another board game night. Tonight we're going to have a look at Gizmos. This is from CMON and it's a Phil Walker Harding design. And we're going to give you an overview of the game so you can see what the components look like, what the gameplay is like, and at the end we'll tell you what we thought. So with me tonight, with this review, I have Mick,
Hi.
Martin, this is his copy of the game, Carla,
Hello.
and myself, Jason. Alright, so let's get straight to the overview. This is the components here in front of us. We have basically a very simple little board which tells you everything you need to know about how to build your gizmos. Alright, so this is your basically your player board area, and I've just added a couple cards just so I can show you. What you're going to do on your turn is you're going to choose one of these 4 actions, and that will perpetuate a lot of other actions for you. So for example, if I chose the file action. The file allows me to choose a face-up gizmo from the display area and add it to my archive, right? So I choose one of these cards, just like in Splendor, you keep it on the side and you can build it.
An archive is essentially your hand, and at the moment, this upgrade over here is showing your hand, your limit of things. So this thing here is showing you got an archive limit of 1, and that's how many energy you can hold. And that's for research, but yeah. So he's got a hand limit of 1, and he archives a card.
And then what I'm going to do is basically go down these options. So this one here, this symbol here shows me I can take one of the energy balls from the top here. So obviously we can see what I'm doing here now, but it would be a blind draw from the top, and then I get to draw one from the tray in the front here, which is over there. If I chose a red one, I would get to do this action as well, which is if you choose a red ball from the tray, you get to do a blind action. So that basically would get me 3 energy balls, which will go into there. My limit is 5 at the moment. I can then get upgrades at a later stage, like this, which add to that limit. So now I can have 6 energy balls and 4 research cards. So that is the general principle of the game, is that basically you're going to build gizmos to make your turns more explosive. The way the game will end is once someone has built 16 cards. That's it.
Or
4 of the
threes. And just to correct Jason as well, you don't have to do these in any particular order. You can do them in any order you choose, because obviously some might be more advantageous to leave later in the chain.
And of course, this will always be full. You just emptied it for the example. There will always be a full deck to choose from.
The cost is shown on the bottom left of the cards. So the level 1s are all 1 costing, the level 2s are 2 to 3, and the level 3s are 4 to 7 of various different energies. So that's how much it costs to build. And basically the actions, file is to put in archive, which is basically your hand. Pick is to choose one of these energies from the tray. Build is to build one from here or from your archive. And research lets you kind of drill down into the deck. And at the moment it's 3, so you look at the top 3 cards and choose one of those to put in your archive or build. So it's a way, if there's nothing out on the display, you can kind of look through the deck instead and do that. Yeah. And that's basically it. We just keep going round until someone triggers the end.
Which is obviously, like I said, 16 cards or 4 of these, and then you count up the victory points. Person with the most victory points is the winner.
You do have some gizmos as well which generate victory points. So this one, for example, is whenever you build a blue or a yellow gizmo, you get a victory point token. So it's not just going to be cards in the tumbler, there's going to be some tokens as well.
And there are 4 types. You've got black, which is battery, blue, which is electric, atomic, yellow, which is electric, and red is fire or nuclear.
No, heat.
That's it. So those are the 4 types of gizmos.
As you can see, it's completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
Red, blue, yellow, and black.
You'll see during the gameplay, we'll just refer to it as I'm activating this color. So there we go. I mean, it's a basic principle. So we're going to be engine building, making as much points as we can. You'll see during the gameplay, we'll explain more as our turns go along. So let's get to that. We'll start off the game. Carla's going to be the first player, and we'll get going.
One of them.
Yeah, pretty useful.
Alright, so you join us for the gameplay turn. Carla's the first player, so she'll go, but I'm going to just show you everyone's tableaus quickly.
I think it's a machine. If we're putting gizmos in it, I don't really know.
Yeah, building lots of...
it is.
So as you can see, Carla's got a few files, a few pickup things, a few building things. She's got one in her archive over here. This is mine. This is what's in my archive. And then I've got a few things that adds to my upgrades and a few picking options. This is Mick. Actually, that's Mick.
That's my archive. That
And
probably looks better.
he's got a victory point as well, and obviously all the things he's built score
We've
with
all got
victory
very
points.
similar. We've all got stuff in our archives and whatnot.
Yep. Right, so Carla, take it away. What are you going to do?
I'm gonna spend a electric, just that, for my build section, because I've built.
So what it will do, it'll basically, as she's building it, will look down in her build sections to look for any of this when you build a yellow. Obviously, that's not. That's when you build a blue.
It
Sorry,
doesn't
so
trigger.
got that.
But you're obviously going for a double blue there, so when she does build a blue, she gets a lot of stuff too.
And then cards are placed.
Yep. And then I am going to do, just want to put the microphone this side. As I get a pick yellow, there's a yellow in the tray, so I'm going to pick the yellow, which goes into my...
Man, look at that blue in there.
When I pick a yellow, I get to draw one blind from the top. I'm going to just sit down quickly so I don't steal one. And I got a black.
You know what I'm doing next.
So that goes there, and then I don't trigger anything else because the other one's basically everything's done for me. So it moves on to Mick.
I'm going to pick a blue because it triggers this. So because I've got this, I trigger each card independently. So blind for the first one and blind for the second one. If either of them had been blue, I wouldn't trigger a card.
No, yeah.
It's only if you pick from here.
And it gets to Martin.
I think I'm pretty tempted to build that. I think I'm going to spend one heat. And I'm going to purchase this converter, which goes in there. And so when I build a red, I get
Victory point.
a victory point, and that card's replaced.
Back over to you, Carla.
I would like a blue, please, and an atomic.
Okay, so she's picking a blue. You got anything for pick blue?
No,
Okay.
not yet.
That's what I've been waiting for. I'm going to pick that red. So when I pick a red, I get to draw one from the top as well.
To say, Jason's energy limit is actually 7 because he's got 5 and then 6, 7 on his upgrade, so he's still got some wiggle room.
Yep. Well, that's it for my engine. Mick?
This is where we're going to see it mess up a bit. I'd still need the third blue to be able to build this one, which I really want. So by picking this, because I've only got a limit of 5, I won't get my bonuses.
Yeah, it's a hard limit. You can't go above and throw energy away. It's literally so. Basically, these would trigger, but because it's his limit, he doesn't get any extra.
Yeah, and you can't exchange down afterwards, so he's just wasted these options.
Tough titties, Mick. So I'm gonna take. I think probably this blue. I'll go there. Should have probably picked the red actually, but never mind.
You got nothing with a pick option.
No, that's it.
Back to Carla.
Okay.
You know, whether blue can represent anything, I actually need blue.
Sort of why I took it really, but I think the red because I can do the same with red.
Yeah.
I should probably starve the market of red. But hey.
I will build this blue,
Okay.
which
And when you build a blue, you get 1 victory point, and you get a pick.
Which colour?
so I would like
They're all
a
available.
blue.
Sure. If you get a black or yellow, you get a freebie.
But no, that doesn't trigger, does it?
Correct.
It's only when you pick something.
No, I want the blue because I think,
Yeah, you have to build that.
yeah, I'd rather have.
So you can see there, obviously, Carla favoured the blue energy over the black or yellow. But if she'd have got the black or yellow, she'd have also got a blind draw.
Which could have been a blue
Yeah,
out of the blind
Yeah,
draw.
that's what you should have probably
But that,
done.
that's what I just built. So.
Yeah, but you're
No,
thinking
for
later
next
on.
go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you had a yellow in there, in your next go, you can use it
I
at
could
any
have.
colour.
Yeah.
Alright, so it's back to me. I've got this in my archive, which is what I want to build. But I'm just having a quick look to see if there's anything else that I might want to build beforehand. I could add to my upgrades, but I don't think it's necessary at this point. Another filing option would be interesting, but I don't have blue, so I don't have to worry about this. This is if I build yellow stuff. I only have 2 of each. These cost 3 and 4s and 5s. So no, I'm going to spend this one red, goes back in there. I'm going to build this, which goes into my build section. So now, when I get to build black, or when I build a black, I get to pick, and if I pick those, and so on and so on.
Maybe I actually put that in my head. I might actually spend the yellow to build that one.
Fair enough. You don't have anything to build yellow, do you?
Oh.
Nope.
Ooh, I like that one. Ooh, I really like that one actually. Fuck it, I'm gonna build that. Yoink. Let's go goes in my upgrades. I've got no when I build a blue, so
Carla's got all the build blue stuff.
Well, you know.
I took that thinking, oh, there's the only upgrade, and both times an upgrade.
Another upgrade colour, yeah.
What is a pain?
Carla's got 2 reds and a
I feel
blue.
like I should buy that, but at the same time, it doesn't trigger anything for me.
No, but it'd give you benefit of being able to have more balls.
Well, she's got one in her
files.
archive. Oh no, this is a build thing.
No, it's a build thing. Unfortunately. And
If you've built that, you can then hold 2 cards in file.
an additional
that's
marble.
why I took it basically, because if we can have that
Okay,
extra
so-
file space is good.
Yeah, I don't think I ever got that to right to the end of the game.
Nothing triggers for build
Will
red.
Not make that mistake. again.
Black! Ooh, interesting. Okay, so I could build that. Allows me to convert yellow into something else, which is not bad. And if I build that, it'll trigger bigger, so I think I'm going to do that.
All of these effects, by the way, are once per activation, essentially once per turn.
So I'm going to spend a black from my pool to build this. This will go into my converter section.
I was going to get it.
Which triggers this, allows me to pick one from the lineup. I am going to pick yellow. So that goes there. So that's what I've done there. Because I picked a yellow, I get to draw 1 blind from the top.
No blue in them.
Yes,
And I picked a blue.
I'm going to be spending my 3 blue.
And that is me done. Mick?
I'm going to spend my 3 blue. And that'll be an upgrade. So now I can store 8 balls, 2 files, and research for 6.
Okay, I'm talking of research. I'm going to do a research action. So my standard research is only 3, so I'm going to choose this deck here. I look at the top 3 cards. And I can choose one. I can build it straight away, or I can put it straight into my archives. That is bloody marvellous, as is that. Oh my goodness me. Oh, that's really difficult. I think I'm going to go with that one. These go on the bottom. Right, and because I've put something in my archives, I get this stuff here. So I get a blind draw, a yellow. I will also get 2 picks, and I think I'll pick a black and a red.
Because you picked a red.
No, I've got none of that crap.
You guys over to call it?
Oh,
As you can see, turns move pretty snappily in this game. No downtime here. Except when it comes to my turn.
I think I will pick a yellow, which allows me to pick a blind. Thank you.
Okay, I've got some energy balls. What should I do? I'm tempted to build this, upgrade some more. It's worth a victory points. I can store more stuff, but I don't get any bonuses for building red. I've got like 2 yellow, 1 of each other colour. You know what I should do? That one is pretty decent. If I build red or blue, I get victory points. This one's if I build blue or yellow. This one's if I build from my archive, which is interesting. I don't really know. I might do a research action as well.
Well, your research value is 4.
Yeah.
Pick a deck.
I'm going to go for this ones. I know it's not a great pick for the ones because this 1 represents, they all cost 1. So
And they're all 1 victory point
Yeah.
value as well.
ugh, and I got nothing that I was looking for.
Yay! Always nice to hear that.
So these are the 4 that I drew. I was hoping for a black card. There isn't any. So I think I'm tempted by that one. I've got the yellow to build it. When I build red, I get to pick, which is not bad. That one last pick black I get. So
Really good card. I've had them both. They're good.
yeah, I'm going to keep that. So I'm going to archive that. These go to the bottom.
You can archive it, not build it. I mean, you can if you want
Yeah.
to.
Oh, I might as well build it. So I will build it. It's cost me a yellow. So when I build red from now on, I get to pick as well.
There's a couple of cards out there I want, but because blue are looking like they're going to get rarer, I think I'd better pick it now. So I'm allowed to pick one
And they got another blue.
and red.
Right, I think I'm going to build. I'm going to spend I think 3 black, and I'm going to build this. It's going to go there.
So from now on, when you build from your archive, you get 2
I get
picks.
2 picks, yeah.
Okay. Back to you, Carla.
It's converting an action.
No, it's just an ability that you have.
While
So-
doing another
so
action.
One of
actions are-
these will count for any colour I would
Correct,
like.
Yep. But
So-
only once per turn.
Turn. So if I then use those 2
As blues.
as blues to build that one,
And because you built blue,
so
you have each point and a pick.
I would pick a yellow.
And because you picked a yellow, you get to have a blind draw.
Look at that. Gizmo's working full storm.
Yoink.
That's better.
It goes over to me. I'm gonna build this. So spend 1 red. Goes in there. This goes into my upgrades. So now I can hold even more stuff. But because I built red, I get to pick. I'm going to pick that red. And because I picked the red, I get to draw a blind.
I think they get the idea of how the synergies work now.
So we'll finish off a couple more
Okay.
gameplay rounds. What are you doing, Mick?
So I'm going to build the blue, and build that one. So I'll be on a fire.
You got anything for building blue? No?
Alright, I'm going to, I think I'm doing another research action. I'm going to do this one. So I've still only got research of 3.
But you can archive 2, that's why you can do it now.
Yeah, exactly that. Oh my god, that's amazing. Oh, that's really good. I think I'm going to take that. And because I've archived, I get a blind. And I'll have 2 picks. I'll have those 2.
Got it.
Should we stop there?
Let's do one more round.
Okay.
See how it goes.
He's obviously got a big plan too. He wants it filmed.
Nice. Sorry, we've only been filming the gameplay for 13 minutes, which is quite short for a gameplay. But it's because the game's
Just a quick
ticks over, yeah.
Okay, well,
That, by the way, is
we're
a
nearly
positive.
halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're nearly halfway already, aren't we? At least 2.
okay, so I'll take
9.
that.
So when you
Okay,
build,
because you
Which-
built blue,
It means it triggers
you get a victory point,
yep,
and you get a pick.
Which colour do you want?
yellow.
Okay, because you picked a yellow, you get a blind. How's your limit?
That's exactly my
No,
limit.
You've got 6.
Oh,
That's
sure.
right.
I am going to build another. Actually, I was tempted to build a red, but yeah, I'm going to build a red. So I'm going to build a red, which is this, which will go into my build section. Because I built a red, I get to pick. I will pick the yellow. Because I picked the yellow, draw blind. Yeah, that's interesting. So I picked the yellow, drew the blind. This is the one thing you got to. There's so much stuff to check. I think that's it. So
Yeah.
Mick,
Okay, I'm going to reserve this yellow card. So, because I reserved that,
So he's
I get
archiving that, I think is the phrase. he's
archive,
looking for.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm going to pick a black and a wild.
great little gumball machine.
Oh man.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. I've got 10 cards. How many cards you got, Mick? Built?
1, 2, 3, 8.
8.
I'm behind the game.
And you, Martha?
2, 5, 7, 8. 2 in archive.
And you, Carla?
What?
How many
What did
cards you
ask?
built?
Oh, I don't know.
4.
4, 6,
She's got 10 as well.
10.
So between 16 is the number we're looking at. So me and Carla built 6 more things.
You can see Carla's got the brown kind of board as well, so that denotes that she's the first player, so we'll get an equal number of turns.
Yeah.
Oh man, a really difficult decision. I think I'm going to spend a yellow and build that, which triggers nothing else.
And there you go. So you've seen a fuel rotations. It pretty much goes on like that until either someone's built 4 of those or 16 cards. Looks like it might be the 16 cards for this game, but you don't know that as the engines roll, things start becoming easier to buy. So we'll be back in a few minutes with the verdict. Alrighty, so we've finished off the game. It wasn't long after you saw us play, and we've worked out the scores, so I will point to them from descending order. Mick in last place with 22 points. Then it's me in third place with 25. I'm not going to turn the camera around to face me. Carlo in second place with 26, beat me by 1 point. And then Martin,
Drink it in.
31 points. And it was interesting. We were just discussing off camera now. Like I had a strategy in mind where I wanted to accelerate the game and get as many of the gems in my pool as fast as possible. So
And you were doing that as well, and it
Yeah.
was quite scary to watch that from the other side of the table, because it was like the game's getting closer to ending and you're never out of energy to spend.
But I accelerated too fast and ended up locking myself out of points, which was quite annoying. So a lesson learned there. Maybe next time I'll slow down towards the middle instead of, because I was worried. Mod was saying I bought too many 2s cards, or looking for 2s. I should have gone for the bigger ones, but I was worried that I wouldn't get a big one that I could build that turn. So
And to be fair, you were right. There is that risk there, but I think it was a gamble. Well,
Yeah.
It was clearly a gamble you should have taken because you didn't win.
Exactly, yeah.
We'll
And
come second.
I lost by 6 points. All right.
They're coming from the real loser.
So, and if you want to have a quick look at what our Gizmo, this is what mine looks like. Look how many. This is the first time I built so many add-ons, but I went for ones with all the extra.
That and your build. It's interesting when you look at other people's. I mean, Carl's gone heavy on build as well. Mine's kind of converters and research, really.
Well, you
Mine was just
like the archive mechanic. You get a lot of
I
it.
like
actually.
I do, and I wasn't intentionally going heavy on that this time. Just kind of circumstance kind of led me down that route a little bit. And as cards came out, I was like, oh, I can build that, and that kind of adds to that. And I just sort of found myself in that region.
And this is what it looks like when what you shouldn't do. Yeah.
See, I mean,
Well, I filed these because based on the fact that I would get that, and I just kept on drawing blues, and you can only use that once. But
Yeah.
you draw another black.
but the advantage that Mick had was whenever he did anything, he gets
A bonus,
bonuses. Whereas me, I mean, when I file is great, and if I build from here, it's great. But when I was picking, I was getting nothing. So
Yeah.
if I had to do a pick action, that's it. That's all I did.
It was like a
That-
dud action
that
for you.
Sucked.
Yeah. How about you, Carlo? What did you think?
Yeah,
Your engine. You got a lot of build blue was
She had
good.
a better version of what I did.
Well, build yellow was actually better as well.
Yeah,
Stronger.
towards the
Yeah,
end.
towards the end, the build yellow is better. No, I mean, you try and build a kind of a mechanic that might actually benefit you, but it was like at this point I could build what I wanted to build, but by that point it was already too late.
Yeah.
So, no, it was okay. I mean, I suspect probably if I have a second play of it, I might have a better idea of where to start. Now that I understand the game a little bit better. Not that it was difficult. It's just you get a strategy in your head that you might want to attempt.
And also dictated by what comes out and stuff like that. I mean,
Absolutely.
red was obviously good for me to build, so I was constantly looking for red. But unfortunately, I got a lot of 1s, which was too many. Anyway, let's get on to the verdict. All right, let's start with the guys. So, this is Martin's game. Let's have a chat with him.
It is. Hello.
And of course, he's the victor of this particular game. So,
It's getting a bit easy now. If I'm honest. I think it's great. It's basically, I think this is kind of a next level up in complexity to Splendor. It's a similar kind of thing where you're kind of just like taking stuff to buy cards, and those cards you get out kind of allow you access to more expensive cards in essence. And that's pretty much what this does as well. But this has got like another layer of complexity on it, and I think for that reason, for me, it's probably far more engaging for me. I think Splendor's possibly a little bit too simple for me. Not that I like Splendor quite a lot, but and I feel, even though again there's no real interaction here, I feel that I'm a bit more engaged with what's happening and what other people are doing and whatnot. Whereas in Splendor, you're just like, no, I don't care what anyone else is doing. Nobody says a word, you know. And there's lots of different avenues you can go with this as well. I mean, you know, Jason went heavy, like cheap build ones. So whenever he does one build, it triggered a load of different things. I've gone file, you know, and you can spread out whatnot, and I really like that. Yeah, I think it's a nice solid game, and as we've sort of discussed, it's not overly complex. I mean, Carla's first game, I don't think you struggled at all at any point. I don't think there was any one point where you went, what does that do? I don't understand it or anything, because the symbology is really straightforward. Everything works nice and easy, and I think it's really good. And I think, in terms of a score, I think I'd probably give it an 8 for what it does. 8 out of 10.
How about you, Mick? You've played this before, but not many times.
Well, but this is only my second go, and I think I did better this time.
I can let you know if you like.
It was pitiful this time, but really pitiful last time. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I tried to learn from my lessons last time.
You did 23 points last time.
Clearly it didn't work. But I trapped myself with needing blacks, just as you can see from my pot, if you can. They all come out blue. So I trapped myself. But Martin covered most of the bases with what he was saying. And I really do like it. I enjoy it a lot. And the speed is ridiculously quick. And even though there was complex thoughts about what you should go for next, it doesn't seem to suffer from AP.
No, there's very little downtime as well. Turns fly around, which is really nice as well.
It. I mean, we've all had to pause every now and again just to think, well, that's the card I want. But if anyone took longer than 30 seconds, I'd have been amazed.
Yeah.
You know, it's...
Even during filming, our turns were going quicker. Normally during filming, when you're explaining what the turns are like, and that just goes so fast.
Yeah. And so, yeah. So, ticks a lot of boxes, especially for not being one of the big heavy games, which I do like that. Not that I'm any better at them. But yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I've played it twice now. Loved it both times.
Score out of 10?
Well, I normally don't give high scores for less heavy games, but I will give it an 8 as well, because I'm really impressed.
Is this something you would get for your collection?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
One thing I forgot to mention are the components. I think while the cards are fine, and I think these boards are a little bit flimsier than perhaps I'd like. The marble dispenser thing's excellent. It was a pain in the arse to build, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I think that's brilliant, really good, and the marble's nice and tactile as well. It's really good.
This is one of the things I was going to mention now when I did my overview was that I think, I mean, the box is beautiful. This is the best part of the artwork on the game. It's really engaging. You know, every time I look at this box, I go, "Ooh, what's that?" You know, that sort of thing. It's really nice. But this is what I think, because you're right, in Splendor and this is very similar. It's engine building. You're just doing stuff to upgrade stuff, to buy more stuff, to get points. But what makes this stand out over Splendor, in my opinion, is the fact that it's so drawn in. When people walk past it, you go, "Ooh, what's that?"
Yeah.
You know, you got this tactile nature of this, like the chips in Splendor.
The chips in Splendor were really nice as well.
Yeah.
Everyone fiddled with those as they had them. And...
Great. I mean, I don't know how much this adds to the cost of the game.
Probably not very much, because it's just, I think it was 2 or 3 punch boards. Simple
And
as that.
the mechanic works really nice. I mean, you draw this and they roll out and they come out random. It's not now, but
And let's not forget that at the end of the day, if you were to play any other game, you would have had a giant board sitting in the middle. So that, in terms of card stock, wouldn't have been any different
No, of course not,
to
no,
printing
no.
this out. So it definitely is. It's a gimmicky game, but I think the gizmo being that, ironically, is really, like Jason was saying, it's a very tactile thing. And actually, because you are constantly playing with that. So where a lot of games, you'll have something like that in the game, but you only use it ever so often. This game solely revolves around that. You're always taking things out of there. So the mechanism is useful, and actually adds to the
enjoyment,
atmosphere of the game.
yeah, I like this. It's just that sound of dropping it in there. I don't know why. I'm very kiddish.
The thing I'd say as well is when you're trying to describe the game to a newcomer, like Carla this time, it feels like you're describing a really complicated game. But I feel once you've gotten a card of each section on your board, you virtually know what they're going to do from that point on.
And it's just seeing the 1 or 2 rotations, and you're on board with what's going on. I think theme-wise, I'm not sure.
I don't even know what the theme is.
Yeah.
The theme is irrelevant.
Yeah.
I would call it an abstract.
Yeah.
It's an abstract engine builder, certainly. We might be building a machine with stuff in it, but I'm not really sure.
I mean, the art is functional and decent on the cards, so they got little gizmos and stuff on there. So
See, for me, this is more like a workshop full of little gizmos. So this is my workshop, and this gizmo does this, and this gizmo does that.
It could well be that.
It literally, that's how I look at it. So I go fetch energy from there to make this gizmo work, and but it doesn't need to have. I mean, I guess Splendor, for all of what we like to say, the theme is almost irrelevant, really. However, we love the fact of this is a chip with a gem on. So I think from a first-time player's perspective, I think you're right. The essential core rules to the game is very easily picked up. Like literally a couple of playthroughs. Listening to them is more complicated than actually seeing them in play. Once you do that, you kind of get it. But it takes a few rotations before you start picking up the mechanisms. So I always feel like a game like this, you play it, and then you go, okay, now I get it. Then you play it again, and then you're actually playing the game.
She was second, incidentally.
should be with a 1 point.
My tactic tends to be, my tactic tends to be, if I don't understand all of the mechanics, I latch onto one mechanic and I focus on that. So that's kind of my first time play mechanic when I try to play any new game. But I don't think this is difficult for any one person to play. And the game plays so quickly that you could easily play this for the first time and then set it up and play it again, so that you get comfortable with the game. It wouldn't cost any amount of time. Hell, some games take longer to set up than this did. So, despite the big mechanism at the bottom of the board, this was quick. It's pretty.
Did you enjoy it?
I did. Don't ask me for a score.
Too late, it's happened.
It's a game I'd keep on the shelf.
Is it a game you want to get for your collection?
Yeah, I'd.
Hey!
Despite
Her collection.
Despite it, I don't know. Yes, I would want this on my shelf, but would I give it up for Splendor? I don't know.
Ah, interesting.
I really like Splendor, so.
I'm happy to have both, I think. I mean, yeah, definitely.
I think
If I had
this
to pick
works really
one,
well
I would go this one.
Yeah, if I had to pick one, I'd probably fall on this one. But
Actually, as a game for young families with children that play often, I think this would work really well as well. Kids would love the mechanisms, and actually it wouldn't take all they'd need to do was understand the chain reactions.
You can help. I mean, you saw in the video that we were kind of assisting other people anyway.
Yeah.
My 11-year-old would eat this up easily. He'd understand this off the bat. And my 6-year-old, who is a gamer, who does play often, would be able to play this game. He might not understand all of the combinations, but he could play it comfortably.
You would need some help just to go, you can do this and do this and Yeah.
yeah, I mean, then even if you feel you're struggling at the beginning, literally every one of these is actually described. All the mechanisms, so seconds to be able to find out what something is going to do.
And this is made by CMON, so there's going to be expansions for this.
And this is another one of those games from CMON that shows that they're not only all about the miniatures.
Yeah, exactly.
And in fact, I think their non-miniature games bear more looking at than their miniature games do. Their miniature games are all about the pretty miniatures, great, that's fine. But they do so many other games, like this, Ethnos, loads of different games are cool from them.
Yeah.
Check them out. They're actually a really cool, credible games company.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've played a few of their games now that don't have many miniatures. There's not a miniature in sight yet.
Well, they're clearly trying to differentiate themselves from the old Cool Mini or Not kind of.
Yeah, that's what they called.
CMON now.
CMON, yeah.
Which,
Come on.
Come on, yeah.
Well, it's basically, they have their miniature ones and they put them on Kickstarter, and then they have their straight-to-retail non-miniature ones, and they tend to be really good, solid games.
They shouldn't be underestimated for the fact.
Absolutely not.
At the end of the day, a miniature game takes a lot of mechanics to build. So to exclude them because they are considered a miniature game is just silly.
Well, for me, these guys have easily replaced Fantasy Flight for me. I think the games they're putting out now are far more in my wheelhouse than what Fantasy Flight do. Fantasy Flight seem to do a few different games.
Star Wars.
And in various different flavours, and that's pretty much it. New editions, and that's basically all they do now.
But the artists that they seem to employ for a lot of their games as well, but despite the miniature side now, but a lot of the box arts, a lot of the it's pretty.
pops.
their games are visually,
Yeah, and
Possibly
that's,
not ethnos. Though.
no, but that's where the
Except Z
theme
doesn't
actually
think
does
so.
come in, so you can have a consistent art, drawings on the
Yeah.
card and all of that. So I suppose
And Phil Walker-Harding's a good designer as well. He's done a couple of games that I like.
Not that I could name one other that he's done, but yes, I agree. I know I've played other games from him.
Well,
but,
I think it's called Dungeon Alliance from De Vere. The one where you're going through the dungeon and you... What? Yeah. We'll do a review of that soon. Yeah, for me, I'm just going to jump in here quickly with I think I give this an 8 out of 10 as well. I love engine building games, and this is super cool. And yes, I would replace Splendor with this.
I would like to have both. You could introduce Splendor first, then follow on with this. If you had a younger family, you could the younger
also
kids.
a lighter evening. If you don't
Yeah.
want to play a heavy games, you could easily have Splendor, Gizmos, or a couple of these style games that they are. It's a different type of game.
I also like this over the is it Plan B games, the Century Spice Road.
okay,
It's basically the same sort of principle engine.
Splendor over those as well.
Yeah.
But I will say as well, we've drawn a lot of comparisons to Splendor. It is quite different to Splendor. It's
It
just
is.
the same sort of things that you're doing.
Yeah, the engine building.
Absolutely that. Getting stuff that allows you to do more expensive stuff, which is basically what Splendor is, but it's very different the way it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I said earlier a little bit of deck with the deck building. There's some at the beginning, your hand of cards will just do one thing, or maybe two if you're lucky. But as you get more and more complicated decks, they'll allow you to trigger effects.
Yeah, I mean, if you
that's
look
what
at that
we
as
do
your
this.
deck, then absolutely, yeah.
I think the reason why I like this one is because, like you were saying in your review, that there's more avenues to do things here. You got, you can upgrade your way you get more abilities. You can give you more ability to change things.
Change anything to anything.
Yeah,
once per turn.
there's loads of avenues.
And
Loads
no
of
one
avenues.
tactic wins,
Yeah.
I don't think.
No, it really just depends on who pulls off their tactic better, and there's no way that you can go into this game. I guess games like Splendor, I can sit down and go, oh, I'm going to do this. It's not to say that you're going to get to do that. As the game progresses, it will guide you towards a specific,
Yeah, I mean, if it had
avenue,
been
if you
tighter, you got this 8 card. You might have had to, if someone, Jason, or Jason had nicked it, you'd have had to resort on a 5. Okay, you still would have got a 5 instead of an 8. But if it was a difference of 1 or 2,
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I was quite lucky because I think, did you build something from here and then it replaced it with an
exactly,
8?
yeah.
Mick couldn't afford it, and so I was like, I'll have that, thanks very much.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I would have built from there anyway, so it wasn't the end of the world.
I would have won, just a little bit closer. All right, well, there's our review of Gizmos from CMON. It's top notch. So we all rate it. I know Carla didn't, but I'm saying she's got an 8.
I don't rate games, but it's either keep or go, and this is a keeper. So.
All right.
So I would still put that 8.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. See you guys later.